Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to learn a little bit more about Networked. My name is Emmy. I am on the team here at Networked. I am going to be running us through our live demo today. We are going to let everybody kind of trickle in and then we will get started. What we have on tap for us today. We've got about 30 minutes blocked on your calendar. It usually goes in about 4 segments. We start with a little bit of an introduction. We then move into a few real life examples of communities using the networked platform. We use that to talk about customization and all kinds of options you have with Networked. We'll then log into the platform, take a look at all those features, and we end with a live Q&A session at the end of the event. As always, we're doing something, or not as always, I guess, we are doing something special today. Everybody who sticks around at the end of the call will be entered in to win a free year of Networked, including free onboarding services. So definitely stick around. Let's see a couple quick housekeeping items before we dive in. First one, you'll see we are in a group-based setting. We do this so that we can offer as many people a live demo during the week as possible. If you have any questions during our demo today, you will see in the bottom of your screen, you've got a little Q&A box. Go ahead and open that up. And you can submit any and all questions you have as we go through this demo. This is by no means pre-recorded. I am actually here filming this and going through this demo with you. I'm located outside of Austin, Texas. If you have questions, I try very, very hard to answer right when you submit them. Sometimes we have moved past that feature in the demo, and I need to circle back at the end of the call, but all questions will be answered by the time we say goodbye today. You'll see also over my shoulder here, I've got some contact information. I am more than happy to continue the discussion with each and every one of you after the call today. Go ahead and send me a text, send me an email to one of these emails. Fastest way to get a hold of me is probably to go ahead and scan that QR code and just book some time directly on my calendar. But again, happy to accommodate any and all of these communication requests. Wonderful. Well, I think that's enough housekeeping. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull my screen up here. Alrighty. For those of us just kind of trickling in, I just want to call out that Q&A box one more time. Sometimes it likes to move around when we are going to and from full screen. So if you ever lose it, find that more button on the far right-hand side of your Zoom menu. I believe Q&A is the third or fourth drop down there. Alrighty, well, we are here today to talk about Networked and online communities. Hopefully that's not a surprise to anybody. If it is, welcome anyway. I hope you stick around and enjoy the demo I have for us today. Networked is an online community platform. I feel like that's quite buzzy, so I like to use the terminology of a all-in-one login portal for your members. Quick note on the terminology of members. I use members a lot in these demos, and when I say that, I'm referring to your community members. Now, these could really be anybody, customers, user groups, special interest groups, actual membership communities, volunteers, startup founders for your accelerator. Anything like that, we refer to all of those folks as members of your community. And so by no means am I limiting our conversation today to just membership organizations. Just to set the stage of what Networked does. So I talk to, dozens of people in a week about their communities. And one of the biggest trends that I see is that people tend to need to go to 5, 6, sometimes 7 different places to get information about a particular organization. That could be anything from in the product, if it's a software company, the phone, it could be webinars, newsletters, social media, text threads, WhatsApp groups, that just kind of name 8 or so off the top of my head. Now, obviously, when you're sending people into a bunch of different places, you run the risk of them not coming back to the place you're looking for them to engage. Cue our conversation today. This is definitely where Networked comes in. We see when communities take that experience from maybe that 7 or 8 different places where members are gaining information, put it all into one login, one portal, we typically see quite a big boost in engagement, sometimes up to 40%. Alrighty, well, a little bit about Networked. So we launched in January of 2023, so we're coming up on our third birthday. We've got about 4,000 communities on the platform to date. We've got, I think, just about 100 testimonials on our website. We're on major review sites. I'm more than happy to share any of that information after the demo as well. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I like to start us off with some real life examples. This just kind of sets the stage for what Networked looks like and what all you can do with Networked. So these are all landing pages for different communities. And these landing pages, you'll see lots of variation, and we're going to use them to talk about customization. But just to kind of set the stage of how people get to these, our customers put buttons on their websites. They post on social media, maybe put it in their social media profiles. Email blasts, text blasts. I'm sure you get the idea there. But everything in Networked has a link that can be shared externally, whether it's your landing page here or individual spaces, individual features, which we will get into here shortly. So when somebody clicks those links, they come to these pages. This is how people are giving them that first experience of their Networked community. I'm going to talk about 3 levels of customization here. 1, branding, 2, privacy, and 3, monetization. So let's start with branding. You've got lots of flexibility with what you want your community to look like in Networked. For example, we can sit on a custom domain. We can get your logos and banners in here. We can change button colors, background colors, font colors, to make sure that your community matches exactly your existing branding package. So you can see I've got a membership group. I just did a coaching group. We've got another membership group with the PGA, a nonprofit, a social club, lots of different ways that people are setting these communities up here on Networked. Alrighty, well, the second layer of customization I'm going to be talking about is privacy. And when I speak about privacy, I'm not necessarily referring to data privacy. To speak to that, our data privacy policy is actually quite short and sweet. You own 100% of the data. You own 100% of the comments, the content, the user information, everything like that you own entirely. It's anonymized to the platform. We do not market to your customers. We do not cross-pollinate communities. They 100% are yours. They're private, and there's no algorithm to be fought. When I'm speaking about privacy, I'm referring to how private or visible would you like your community to be? And just kind of by way of example, we've got a handful of communities on Networked that are incredibly, incredibly private. All for different reasons, but I say, a couple ideas is maybe they're working with sensitive information, or they're working with vulnerable or at-risk community or populations, and they need that level of privacy. On Networked, you can be completely hidden. Somebody wouldn't be able to even know you had a community until they were directly invited by the admin team. That is one option. We've got folks on the far end of the option, typically more are creators, podcasters who want that visibility. You can show up in search engine results. You can click around without logging in. We have a couple folks who even use their Networked community as their website. Most of our customers land right there in the middle, and this is a really good example of a hybrid community. So I'm logged out here, and I'm actually clicking into different areas of the community. Now, they've chosen a couple areas, their newsfeed being one, and then their events being the other. You could do this with any number of features in any number of spaces. But we always like to say kind of creates that FOMO so people are curious enough, and that gets them to request to join or log in. Now, the third layer of customization we're going to talk about is monetization. Now, this is a little bit more of a feature than a customization, but it customizes the experience from somebody finding you to getting logged in. So that's why I include it here. In Networked, we look at monetization 2 ways. One way being a la carte, one-off monetization. Think purchase a course, download an ebook style content. The next and our most popular is our subscriptions. A lot of our customers like to set up a recurring revenue model. You are able to create plans. We can have a monthly, one-time, annual, however you would like. You are able to charge whatever you want. bundle whatever you'd like into those plans, update permissions, access to content, what have you. And from there, you get to keep 100% of what you make in your community. We do not take a cut of anything that is sold networked. Alrighty, well, that's enough customization. Time to go and see the logged in view of the community. So here we are. Any visual customization, branding customization you have made in your community up to this point will carry through to the rest of your community. So I always like to say, if you'd like yellow font, you can have yellow font in here as well as on your landing page. I want to speak really briefly about permission. You're going to see me work my way down this menu bar here, and I want to kind of describe how this works. This is really the backbone of a networked community. And I've got a little bit of a silly analogy, so bear with me here. If you think of a hotel, you're going to have some everybody areas that are in that building. Think lobby, bar, coffee shop, restaurant, what have you. You're also going to have the more gated areas of that hotel. Individual guest rooms, maybe there's some employee only areas, maybe there's some special lounges for like points or membership level. In a hotel, obviously it's a physical place. So you're given a key based on who you are that unlocks certain doors for you. But that experience of depending on who you are, you have customized access is how we do permission in networks. Now, obviously, we're not talking about building a physical building. Everything is 100% digital. But we are doing all of this using spaces, which are these little icons down the menu bar here, and you're creating that custom experience. So starting on our lobby here, where people are mainly logging in, this is where all of your members are gonna see. So announcements, reminders, updates, really great place to be sending these. Everything in network can trigger individual notifications. We can do that through a push notification on mobile, in-app notification on web, as well as an email notification. As I mentioned at the top of the call, everything in networks can also be shared externally. So you can post these to different social media sites and emails, pull people back into your networked community. And coming very soon, we will also have our Newsletter Plus feature, so you'll soon be able to send your newsletters out of networked as well. Wonderful. Now moving our way into these spaces. Now I always like to call out, these are completely customizable. We use these more as inspiration and kind of examples. You can label them whatever you'd like. You can use whatever features you'd like, all of that. Here are some ways some people use spaces in networked. So using the feed feature in a space, you could create a specific subset of group, let's say your volunteers, where they can come in and post questions and get answers from the other volunteers. It's really great for Q&A. It's great for recommendations, advice, partnerships, product requests, anything like that. These can be gated for subgroups, but also open to everybody. What can also be really great for small groups, if you've got cohorts, committees, anything like that, is using the chat feature in those spaces as well. Now you can see I've got multiple features in each of these spaces. You are able to add as many features to a space in networked as you would like. We absolutely do not limit you to one or two features per space, which is quite common in the community world. Alrighty, so we've kind of covered the one-to-many communication, where as an admin, you can push a lot of information out to your community members. Now we've kind of covered that many-to-many or that peer-to-peer, where you can get into groups and ask some discussion prompts. Last one we are going to cover is one-to-one. Now, anywhere in the networked community, you're able to click on somebody's picture, be taken to their profile, and send them a message. But we find quite often that people are looking for somebody very specific. Our directory feature can be a great option for that. Using search and filter, you're able to narrow it down to who you might want to interact with. And from there, you can send that person a message. Now you can create as many directories as you'd like. You can create as many spaces with whichever features as you'd like. You can limit who's listed, who can see it. You can also allow members to opt out of the directory for privacy reasons if you would like to do so. You also have the ability to turn off messaging. I know a lot of groups that work with kids like to turn off messaging, so that is also available, an option that's available to you. On the flip side of the member directory, we've got companies. This could be member organizations, approved vendors, recommended products, sponsors, partners. I even see some people use this to store their discount and affiliate codes. Lots of flexibility for this feature. Moving on down our menu bar here, we've got our events. Now we saw a logged out view of that event calendar on that example, but I'll pull up and show much more information when you're logged in. Now again, everything can be made shareable. These can even be made public events if you'd like to use them for more marketing style webinars. And we even have video technology built into the platform, so you could host that webinar right here in Networked. Or I guess it doesn't have to be a webinar. We have a webinar option. We also have a call option. You could host group calls. The virtual events always kind of get us down the line of content and storing event recordings. And what does that look like? Using the Media Center feature, you are able to create libraries of specific types of content. Sometimes we see people do this, separate out, for example, event recordings. We also see some people opt for more of the all-in-one approach. We do have that search and filter. We also support custom tagging. This would be a great option as well. Now we support pretty much any form of media, links, audio, video, images, documents, anything like that. You can upload them directly here to Networked. Now our Media Center is probably our most monetized feature. I would say probably more than any other. Typically it's access, but sometimes we see people do a one-off charge for some exclusive content. Sometimes it's templates, worksheets, anything like that. You can charge extra for your content here on Networked. Now, if any of you have heard or seen on our socials, we did just release courses. I'm going to give a little bit of a sneak preview here, but there will be another webinar on Monday if you are curious to dig into our new course feature. But now you're able to monetize your content in yet another way on Networked. Coming in here, you can create a full structured course using content you already have in Networked or new uploaded content and provide that structured quiz learning style experience. Now, if you have any questions about dashboards, certification, anything like that, let me know. This is probably our most anticipated release of the entire year, so definitely happy to share more information here. Alrighty, coming into our last feature of the morning, I have my job board. So I think this is probably one of my favorite features here on Networked. I know it might not be the flashiest of all of them, but I think it's such a cool way to provide that extra layer of value, especially in a digital community space. You can provide a little bit more access to that real life in-person experience. Great for full-time roles like this, but more and more I'm seeing people use it for project roles, volunteer opportunities, mentorship opportunities, board seats, advisory roles. I've even seen some people use it to find speakers for events. So lots of flexibility there. Alrighty, well that feature-wise is what I have for us today. I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit about kind of how Networked works with our customers and what next steps are if you like what you see here today. If you have any questions, now is a great time to go ahead and pop those in the Q&A, and I will get to all those questions here in about 90 seconds, 2 minutes. I'll be quick. Alrighty, well, the biggest question I always get, and I like to just head it off, is, hey, Emmy, this is interesting. I could see this working for my community. What should I do as a next step? I mean, it's a great question. As I mentioned at the top of the call, I've got all kinds of contact info behind me, and I will be pulling my screen down here shortly so that you can see that again. That is a great option. As I mentioned, I'm happy to meet with each and every one of you to continue the conversation. I do also like to offer our free trial. I think some people are learned by doing, folks. Everybody will get a link to this, but if you ever come to our website, click any of these nice big blue buttons, you will be taken directly into a free trial of Networked. Now, everything that you do in Networked is saves, so you are not at risk of doing any of the work twice. Alrighty. Now once you're ready to get started, just to kind of give a sense of how this looks. So Networked is a subscription model. We're month to month. We also offer an annual subscription for a little bit of a discount. Now all of these plans include access to the web as well as the mobile app of Networked. They access to the Networked branded mobile app. We do offer a white labeled mobile app as well as higher product limits for our enterprise customers. That is available through Networked Plus. If you have any questions about that, definitely let me know. All of our plans are upgrade, downgrade, cancel, change at any time. All of the features I showed today are available here at Basic. And then we add storage, number of admins, features, and support levels, excuse me, from there. One feature I always like to call out, that's usually a big question I get. If you are somebody who's very interested in analytics, you want to see more granular analytics about your community, and those begin at our professional level and then go up from there. So if that's your case, I might recommend starting at professional. Alrighty, well, there we have it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can see the power of Networked and how it really is um, all-in-one experience for your community members. Um, all right, and I've got my contact information pulled up, so if you would like to go ahead and send me an email or anything like that, you absolutely are welcome to do so. I've got a question. When is our next demo to invite associates? Great question. I do live demos twice a day, every single day of the week. Well, 5 days of the week, Monday through Friday. I would be happy to share, if you want to send me an email to one of these emails, I'd be happy to share the sign up link, and then your associates can join whichever demo best fits their schedule. Wonderful. Well, it looks like we might not have a lot of questions, but I do want to just take a quick minute to say thank you to everybody for joining. I really appreciate seeing all the folks on today, and appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about Networked. I will go ahead and stay on for maybe another minute in case anybody's still typing their questions. But if you don't have any more questions, I just want to say thank you for taking the time, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to continuing the conversation, and we look forward to seeing your communities on Networked very soon.